Good evening, friends. Welcome to today's session on another constitutional authority, governor. Now, we have seen the role of president for the whole country as head of the state and the relationship between the president and the parliament, between the president and the rest of the executive, and his other various roles as a supreme commander of the armed forces. So these powers are, in normal situation, he may not be enjoying those powers, but there are certain circumstances when his role becomes very, very important. How it becomes, that we will see. But to begin with, let us understand that governor is a very, very peculiar and a distinctive post. It is not like any other post which we find constitutional post, as in the case of president or prime minister or the council of ministers. He has got a very typical role, and let us see now why I am telling you, because I have seen personally, because for 5 years I was also officer on special duty as an IAS officer who worked with the governor. I was OSD to governor of Tamil Nadu from 2006 to 2011. That was an additional charge given to me. So I have seen the functioning of the governor practically in real terms, how he functions, what are his normal duties, what are his responsibilities during certain abnormal times. Okay, so let us see from today's discussion. I'll give you some, practical inputs also, which I don't think you will find it any other book or from any other teacher. Though I'm not your teacher, I'm your guide. So, but because of my previous experience with the office of governor, I think I'll be able to give you some, very real life situations or practical aspect of the functioning of the governor. Now, Article 153 to 167 in Part 6 of the Constitution, this deals with the state executive. So, we have seen the central executive, now we are covering the state executive. When we talk of the executive, we have seen the executive is that organ of the governance which deals with the implementation of laws. Now, how they will be implementing the laws in the state, because states are the constituent units. India is the union of states. So, states are the units in the Indian Federation, but they have certain very strong unitary characteristics. So, governor plays a very crucial role in both within that federal system and also a part of the unitary characteristic of our constitution, of our governance. So, he is perhaps the only authority in the state who plays a crucial role in both his avatars as a executive head and also a representative of the center. So here, when we talk of quasi-federal characteristic of our governance, the role of governor becomes extremely important, and that's how we have to understand his position and his functioning. Head is the governor. He is like the head of the state. Okay, so we can say that he is the head of the state. Right? Then we have the chief minister. he is the head of the government. Right? Then there is a council of ministers in the state government. So this council of ministers is headed by the chief minister, and then we have the advocate general of the state, who is the highest advocate representing the government. The advocate representing the government in all legal matters. That is, appearing before various courts, rendering legal advice. So, all legal matters are handled by the Advocate General of the state. Chief Minister and the Council of Ministers, they form the government, and then the government is run in the name of the governor. He is the constitutional head of the state, we can say. So, this is how the state executive structure is. Now, you may ask me, where is the civil services gone? We have not mentioned here the civil services. Now, I am talking of the practical aspect. What we see here is the constitutional framework. Within the constitution, what are these authorities who form part of the state executive? So, what happens? Where do we put the civil servants into that? Civil servants like the IAS officers, the PCS officers, who actually implement the policies and the laws. Now, they will come under them. They are part of the government. So, civil servants, including the police, forest, police, various departments, various posts, district units like district collectors, below them, the additional district collectors or the STMs, they are all part of the government and they are controlled and they report to them. Now we see the position of the governor. He is the chief executive head of the state. That means all the executive decisions, orders, etc. are taken in his name. But he is a nominal executive head. Now, that means he is not the real head. He is not exercising the executive powers or the executive authority directly. The civil servants do not report to him unless he calls for their reports or he calls for, any kind of consultation. Civil servants report to their concerned ministers or to the chief minister. But they carry out all the functions in the name of the governor. If you see any order passed by any department of the state government, it is written below that by the order of the governor. Though it is not real the order. In reality, it is not the order of the governor in the real sense that the file will not go to the governor. It will go to the concerned minister or to the chief ministers. But the order will be issued and it will be written here by order of the governor. One of these days, I'll show you one of these orders, in fact, my own orders perhaps, where it may be a transfer order, it may be, kind of a promotion or a grant of a reward or whatever it is. Even the leave granted to senior civil servants, it is written by order of the governor. So all executive decisions are taken in the name of the governor. Now, this is here he occupies a very, very different role. He is performing a very, very different role. That is, we call him the agent of the center. It is actually a very negative and wrong word. We should not call him the agent, but we can call him a representative of the president. And president again is the head of the state, though he is not the head of the government, but head of the state. That is why we say that he is agent of the central government. We will see when we see his functions why this agent and principal relationship is there. Agent works under the principal. He reports to the principal. Now, any report from the governor will be sent to the president, and in turn the president will send it to the Council of Ministers. The 7th Constitutional Amendment of 1956, that a governor of a state can also function as or can be appointed as the governor of 2 or more states. You know, I have worked under a governor who was governor of Maharashtra and was holding additional charge of the governor of Tamil Nadu also. Now we come to the powers and functions of the governor. They can be divided under these 4 heads: executive powers, legislative powers, financial powers, and judicial powers. But unlike president, he has no diplomatic powers, no military powers, or emergency powers like the president. He cannot impose emergency. He is not a supreme commander of the armed forces in his state, or he has no diplomatic, status like receiving or appointing the diplomats. Now, first is the executive powers. As we have seen, all executive actions of the government of state are formally taken in his name. He can make rules specifying the manner in which orders are to be executed in his name. That means that when the state government will issue an order as to where the file will go, as per the rules, a particular decision, the file will go to the minister or to the secretary. It will not go to the governor. Okay, but in certain cases, the files will come to the governor for his approval. So these are the rules are made, of course, in consultation with the state government. Rules for transaction of business of a state government. How the business of the state government governance will be carried out. Again, he makes the rules, but of course, the chief minister or the government has to play an important role through the aid and advice. He appoints the chief minister and other ministers. Now, can he appoint the chief minister on his own? As the president cannot appoint the prime minister on his own, though he issues the appointment order, he gives them the oath, administers the oath to them, but governor cannot appoint the chief minister like that. How? Generally, leader of the majority party or having the confidence of the house. As we have seen in the case of the prime minister, that prime minister should have the confidence of the Lok Sabha. But here it is the legislative assembly. So the chief minister should have the confidence of the MLAs, majority of the MLAs. And on his advice, the ministers are appointed. Similar kind of a function. Now, Council of Ministers holds the office during his pleasure, that he can remove any minister, but on the advice of the Chief Minister. And he cannot remove the Chief Minister till he is having the confidence of the House. If he loses the confidence, then he has to either resign or will be removed by the governor. Now, in some states, he is appointing tribal wear ministers also. So, those states are like Jharkhand. Earlier Bihar was there, but Bihar was removed. So, some states where there is a more tribal population, those states, the governor will be appointing. Appoints the Advocate General of a state and decide his remuneration. The state election commissioner is appointed by him on the advice of the chief minister. Okay, so appoints the chairman and members of the state public service commissions. Seeks any information from the government relating to administration of the government's affairs. Recommends, now this is important, this is another unitary character. Now, when the state government is not obeying the directions of the central government, or there is a constitutional breakdown, there is a breakdown of constitutional machinery, that means the state cannot be run as per the provisions of the constitution. In that case, a report is called for from the governor, or he himself will send a report to whom? To the president. So in that case, an emergency under state emergency under 356 article can be imposed. Okay, so that is called president's rule, but actually it is governor's rule, because president will be ruling the state through the governor. So acts as chancellor of the universities in the state and appoints their vice chancellors.